record. Record. Oh, there should be a recording. Okay, mate, let's get into it.
Cool.
Oh, yeah. So, the first step is, but the whole thing is about it's a byproduct of experiencing your God. That's actually it. So it's not actually to do with the 3D. It's to do with whatever you call God or Buddha, or infinite intelligence, right? So I call her, by the way, but God,
Yeah.
So you can't get to that point until you go through the gate, but it's like a veil, and that veil has to drop, that screen has to drop, and that screen is all your thoughts. So how do you drop thoughts? That's why most people can't get past the point, because they're still trying to think their way into it. You can't, it's not a thinking way into it. It's like I'm trying to think my way into having a bath. Well, you have to stop thinking and then you start washing, otherwise you're just going to smell. So it's like, it's not a thinking thing. It's a different thing. And so it's like thoughts have to be dropped. So how do you drop your thoughts? Simply by witnessing it. It is the most profound thing. If you just sit quietly in a room and you just allow every thought, and they'll just get busy, then they quiet it down, then you have opinion about thoughts, and then you'll have thoughts like, okay, when is it happening yet? You know, what's going on? And you just have thoughts after thought, and it's just like, okay, I think I'm here. You got to drop every thought, thought. It's not that you drop it, you just observe it. You don't get involved. You don't go, yeah, when will it happen? You don't get involved. You just, as your mind wanders, you just bring it back and you just watch every thought like a screen. And what happens, at first it may take a bit, right? First it may take a while. What happens eventually is like, do you play an instrument?
Yeah. Well, I played the drums for years, but I don't really consider that as an instrument because neighbors just call it noise.
Yeah. So me playing drums, it sounds like me beating up somebody, like thump, thump, thump. There's no.
Yeah.
And when you do it, it looks like magic to me. It's just like, it's like playing a piano. Mine go ding, 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 ding. Doesn't have any rhyme or reason, and it can seem forever that you could pick it up. But once you dedicate yourself, you'll pick it up, and it becomes easier and easier. And so, at first, watching your thoughts is quite weird. But once you're determined just to witness, in other words, to see every thought without an opinion. So to watch a thought without a thought about it. And when another thought comes about it, you keep watching, you keep coming back. You're just watching thoughts. The most profound experience you had, brother. These thoughts will just drop. They'll just go. They're just like. And then all of a sudden, you're present. You're truly present. You're here. And wherever you're at, whether you're in your room or your garden or outside or in nature, wherever, you'll start to see things like you've never seen it before. You'll see nature, you'll see life, you'll actually feel life itself. Everything comes alive. What the fuck? It's like this most profound experience, And then as you stay in that, as you learn to stay in that place, you'll start moving. And when you're talking to people, it'll feel totally different. It's like you can feel what's going on in their soul. And you don't get involved in it. Like people go through pain, you don't get involved in it. You can just feel what's going on. Everything is profound. If you stay in that place for a period of time, your God appears. And that is the most important thing, right? And at first, this whole thing may take quite a while. It may not happen straight away. It may not happen for days, weeks, months, years. But because I've told you the process, it shouldn't take very long at all. Because I just didn't know. I didn't know what's going on. I was lost in thought the whole time. So, there goes like 40 years like that.
Wow.
Because how do you know?
Right.
So you witness your thoughts. Then you become what's called present. That is, you're here without thought and you're actually experiencing. So it's experiencing your feeling, right? It's just like, when did you used to play rugby, anything like that, or relief, anything like that?
Yeah.
You're playing
Yeah.
rugby, especially with your mates, you're just mucking around, and you just pass it. And you just, when you're mucking around, like it doesn't matter who wins, it's just the boys against the boys, you're just mucking around with each other. You can pull off some of the most amazing moves. And then, but when you're in this game, there's pressure. You go, no, dude, don't force the play. Let the play come to you. In other words, stop thinking. Stop having an agenda how you want this to go. Just, we've got our moves, but we'll just play what's in front of us. So as we do the moves, as they change, we change, and all of a sudden the whole move may change as well. We're just playing, and it's just like flow is moving without thought. That's what flow is. So we drop thought, and then you enter the present moment. Once you become present, then after a period of time, she appears. Once you get the knack, all of a sudden you can do that at will. What happens when you're in that place? Tell you what happens. A whole bunch of things happen. You get this gratitude. First of all, you get this peace, which is the first sign. And that peace is a peace not of this world. That peace is the peace of God, and it's promised in the Bible. And it says it will descend upon you. And this peace just comes over. It's almost like, it's like the whole world drops off your shoulder. The burden of the 3D, every fear just goes. And it's just like, what the? And you feel so light. You're vibrating your soul and your very being, this peace. And you think, what is this? And you feel beyond the word safe, beyond that. You feel embraced by God. That's the only way I could explain it. So this peace comes over you. In the Bible, it calls it the Holy Spirit. It also says the peace will descend upon you. This ungodly peace or unworldly peace, it's not of this world, it's a peace from God. So what's the difference? Because the peace from this world is a reaction to something happening in 3D. There's something great has happened, so now you can relax about it in the 3D.
Yeah.
But that's subject to the 3D. So as soon as that situation changes back, you'll lose your peace. Because that peace is from this world. That peace is a reaction to the 3D. So what happens when you stay there and you experience this peace? Things will naturally start to come. You'll have this gratitude that you've never experienced before. It's nothing happening in the 3D. It's just you become grateful for life, that you are an expression of God. And it's an overwhelming gratitude. At different stages, you'll feel different things. Or just like one day you just wake up and you'll see all the order of things. You'll just see it, just like, what? It's like I look out and I go, I've got all these beautiful flowers, and I go to my wife's got, and it's like that flower, the seed for that flower only produces that flower. It never produces a mellow puff, you know? Like on an apple tree, you never see like a little packet of Tim Tams. It just can't do it. It's just like, it's so orderly. It's so structured. And when you see it, when you actually see it, it's astounding. Then you can't unsee it. Then you see her order everywhere. You see how the day comes up after every night. That's the most, basic things, but the most profound things. As you see her order, you vibrate in it. As that happens, your life becomes orderly. A lot of people start volunteering to help you out. It just becomes easy because you're vibrating in it, like fundamental vibration. One day you'll also see the abundance, or just be here you just go. And before you thought about it, but now you see it. You'll just go, I can't actually count how many leaves on that tree. I can't count even how much grass there is over there. I can't count how much stars there are. It's almost like she's wasteful. She gives us so much that you can't count it, let alone process it. Like it's beyond counting. And you go, oh my God, there's abundance everywhere. Then you start to see financial abundance in the 3D. You go, I can't even count how many cars are on the road. If every car's worth, say, 20 grand, as I'm driving, I do this, I count it. I go 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 100, 680. You know, these 5 cars go past me on the motorway at once. There's 100,000, 200,000. Okay, that's $1 million. And within like 10 minutes, I've counted like $4 million in cars. That's interesting, you know? every house in Auckland easily say $1 million. Some $1.5 million, some 800. So I just go down the street, look at the letterbox, and go, 30 houses down this little street. Oh, $30 million. Interesting street. Oh, look at this. 100 houses. 100 million. And that's not counting places that's like 1, 2, or 3 places, like unit A, B, and C. You know? It's just like, I just take the camera and I see it. I go, so much money. And this is just an average street. I'm just driving now. Oh, that's $100 million street. Oh, that's 60 houses, 65 houses, $65 million street. Mm-hmm. And I just keep driving. And I can't unsee abundance. As I truly see it, I'm feeling it. As I feel in it, it shows up in my 3D. And people go, how'd you do that? I go, I vibrate abundance. What's that? It's a byproduct of experiencing my God. So it's it's a little bit of a thing. How do I do that? Well, you want the money, you don't actually want to experience God. It won't happen like that. The money that you'll experience is simply in reflection to how you feel about money, by the way. But when you experience God and see the abundance that you start to experience is not of this world. It's just like it's so much. So you just start to feel so abundant. And that translates into your account as so much,
Yeah.
And so I just find myself getting all these opportunities. People go, do you want to do this? Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they just don't want to do business. They begging to do business. And that's because I see life as effortless. I don't see that flower struggling. That's another thing. You see things like that. You don't see, that bird. It's struggling. There's no struggle. There's effort, but there's no struggle. Do you know what the difference is between effort and struggle?
I would say struggling, you're going through some sort of adversity or pain.
So let's say you're putting effort into this task, or you're struggling with this task.
Yeah. Oh, right.
So one is action. So effort is action. Taking action. Cool. What's struggle? It's action with resistance. You're feeling some sort of resistance, like it's going to be hard, or that person may stop it, or you're worried if it will work. So effort is action. Struggle is action with resistance. Interesting, eh?
That's crazy. Because, that's how I would say I've been looking at things, struggling.
So how does the average person look at things in the 3D? It's easy. They see the 3D like a giant game of chess. I'm here, and I want to get over there. This moment isn't that important. What's important is that I get to that moment and that result. So this present moment is irrelevant to most. Plus, you are in a position where you can say yes to me or no to me. So your decisions affect my results, because if you say yes to me, it's like, yep, we'll do some business together, or yes, you'll be my client, then I get more money, right? And if you say no, I don't get that money. Or you could say, I lost that money. And so it's like I'm trying to move people into certain positions and move myself into certain positions in order to get through to the certain targets or results in life. So for most people, the 3D is like a giant chess game. And so they want to know, what should I say to this prospect to help me? And also to make some money. How do I help you?
Yeah.
So that's a very 3D question. There's nothing wrong with it if you want to live and move from the 3D, right? Because but then you're managing a conversation. Do you have a belief in a greater power?
Yeah, I believe in God. I've always grown up in a Christian household and went to a Christian or Anglican school. So yeah.
So look up Matthew 6:33 and then Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Do you have a Bible here?
I do. It's right next to me. Was it Matthew that you said?
6:33.
6:33. So Matthew 6:33.
Got it?
I do. Yes.
What does it say?
It says, but seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well.
So let's break that down. So it's translated in a variety of ways. The common way is seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all other things will be added unto you, which is same as that, right? So
Yeah.
You called me wanting some help, something to do with prospects. We haven't even approached that because it's not the thing to do. Because that's one of the other things. You know? That's what God says. There's the other thing. Your prospects is one of those other things. There's the first thing that you must do. What's the first thing you must do? What does it say? Seek first. What's the first thing to do?
To surrender to God.
Yeah. So the first thing is to connect with your God. That's the first thing. Connect with your God. And once you do that, what will happen? What does it say after seeks God's righteousness or kingdom? What does it say? And all these other things.
And his righteousness and all these things will be given to you as well.
The thing that you want to experience, God will do it for you. It'll be his gift to you from having the experience of God. But if you want those things, if that's your truth, I'm talking about the real shit, the real stuff. If your truth is, how do I move my business? If that's your priority, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But that's what you're seeking first. But if your truth is, my highest priority, the reason why I open my eyes, the reason why I exist today is to experience my God, you will experience your God. And those other things will be, it'll be so irrelevant because there's nothing in the 3D someone can give to anything or anybody in 3D can give to you that can add to the experience of you meeting your creator, right? There's nothing that comes close to that. So what happens is in the meeting of your God, when you drop thought, you get down on your knees, you start to pray, you do whatever that is, you have that experience. You don't want a different result or a different moment. You want only this moment. Because how can this moment get any better? Like seriously, how can it get better? As you vibrate in that, all other things now is organized for you. But you can't lie. You can't go to God to do that, to get that. You can't go to God to get stuff. It's a lie. You know? And you can't hide that God. So it's like you just want to pray to me to get your some money.
Yeah.
And so The next scripture, you look it up, and we'll just keep talking. Is Proverbs 3, verse 5. So we go about life backwards. We're trying to get stuff in the 3D to make ourselves feel more complete, to give us whatever we call success. The success of the 3D is flighting. In other words, it's not a word. It's whatever you experience, all the feelings you have in the 3D are subject to the 3D. They're flighty. As soon as you feel successful, as soon as some circumstances in the 3D change, you no longer feel successful. As soon as you feel loved, as soon as the person that you love in the 3D goes, you start feeling loved. So it's at the mercy of the 3D. So it's just a very surface feeling. But the energy or the vibrations from God is, if you're in peace because you've met your Creator, there's nothing that's happening out there that phases you. How can it? You're experiencing God. How can that phase you? What can that do? You think that person or that thing or that situation is outside of God? It's not. It's nothing. It's irrelevant. And then because that's your living truth, all of that changes. It's the opposite of what everybody's doing. It's the opposite. And you can't fake it. What's Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 saying?
Proverbs 3 is, let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight.
Is that 3, 6, verse 6?
No, sorry, that was that was 3, 6. Sorry.
So that first one, verse 6. Just repeat that first part again.
In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight.
And before that, what does it say? Does it say something that lean not upon your own understanding?
Yes, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding.
So let's get this
Crazy.
Right. So what we're saying is, how you're trying to work it out. Like what God was saying, your plan, Gus? Really lovely. Give it a rest. It's my way. But if you want it to be your way, so be it. But don't come near me. So people used to come to me when with my nutrition company, because I had nutritionists, and they want a nutrition plan. And I charge them a whole lot of money. They go, this is your nutrition plan. They go, cool. I go, so you might have some questions about, can I have this, or this? Just read the plan, and if it's not on there, it's a no. And if you ever go, I think I might be allowed, it's actually a no. Unless you can find it, it's a no. Now, if you just really want to make sure you can ring me up, I can say no to you. I have no problem with that. I can say no in multiple languages. No, nine, nada, zilch, zil, no. The answer is just no. That's just how it is. I can write it, I can fax it, I can email it. I can do all of that. I can do it up front. I can just send you a couple of emails saying no, just in case you answer it, just look at that email. We can save it a whole bunch of time. Or you just get in the head, that's it. So that's my plan for you. That's a Papps nutrition plan for you. Any changes to that, the little sort of change, is no longer my plan. It's your plan. Your plan won't work.
Wow.
Your version of my plan is actually your plan. It's not my plan. You add one little bit of difference, you go, what's the big deal? Just like saying, oh, just have a little pill. It's poison, it'll kill you. It's only a little thing. What's the big deal? Just check that in the plan. Just check it in. What's the big deal? The big deal is that's a big deal. And the other big deal is that it's you're misunderstanding why you're doing it. So for God, it's either her way or your way. And there's nothing in between. Right? And if you're not seeking God, then you're not seeking God. And that's just fine. That's just every person's choice. But what God is saying there is, Gus, don't trust in your way. Don't try to work it out. Don't lean upon your plan. Don't lean upon your understanding. Don't lean upon any man's understanding in this world, because it's not Gus's way, Steve's way, or anybody's way. It's my way. It's God's way. So don't go there. Don't think. You don't have to doubt. You don't have to question me. Don't think. So how do you know what to do and what to say? You're going to love this when we get to this point. You're going to love it. I love it. So first of all, God saying, lean upon your own understanding. Just read out that verse again, that part. Don't lean upon your own understanding.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding.
So,
in all your ways acknowledge him. And
so to stop there. So trust in the Lord with all your heart. That means all of your energy. So that doesn't say trust in the Lord with all your heart, but just carry a little bit of doubt. It's all right. Doubt reveals that you don't trust.
Yeah.
It's like 1% of doubt is all doubt. Any little bit of doubt. It's like 1% of cheating on your partner. Well, I only cheat on her on Saturday, so what's a big deal? Oh, they're still cheating. It's sort of the issue. So 1% of doubt, you have your God. God is just if you meet your God, you don't have doubt. Otherwise, God is just a mental concept. It's in here, it's not in here. So with your whole being, vibrate in that God experience. And then you will naturally trust your God, Gus, right? And your experiences will not be an experience with Gus is in doing things. Your experience now, I promise you, will be that God has organized this person. God has organized this person to say yes to you. Or God has organized this person to say no to you. And both of them are abundant. How? Why? I don't know.
wow.
But whomever God chooses as a vehicle for abundance to you is her choice, not yours. So if God says it's not through this person, they're just a vehicle. They're a courier. They're nothing. I have no interest. Like a person goes, oh, no, Steve, I don't think I'll do it. I don't, like in the past, I have a whole bunch of things to help them come to the conclusion. I said, whatever. I think, oh, no, but we could talk. No, I'm fine. Just like, oh, well, why did we do the deal? Okay. I was doing this deal today with, this is confidential, but I'm doing this deal. I can't give too much details. But we were talking to these people about a year ago, and we agreed on most things except it was a bank guarantee for this deal to go ahead. But the bank guarantee is like $250,000 or something, right? That's what they want from us. And our whole thing was we can't proceed with this deal without that, so it just went bye-bye. Anyway, about 2 or 3 weeks later, they made contact through a real estate agent. We had a meeting, first meeting again we had with him. And I said, look, we can give you the bank guarantee, but it's not going to happen for a year. But that's a big deal because it means they're not secure. They're going to build this whole building based on us. And normally you'd need a bank, they would need a bank guarantee to go to their bank to say we've got secure tenants. They can't pull out because if they do, we can take all this money and all of that. And he goes, well, how much time do you guys need? Like, we'll sign the tenancy now. They'll start building this building for us for Bluefield. The building will be ready in 15 months, but they want the bank guarantee before they start to secure their funds. And we don't want to do that. So I said, oh, in February 2022. He goes, oh, that's a year away. My response was, yeah, it is. He goes, okay, let's do it. I know how to do it. And that was it. That was the effort. I talked to Ben a few weeks ago. We were just talking about that. We were talking about different things like the Golf Harbour. We were talking about, he goes, I wonder what's going to happen. I said, we'll find out when it happens. He goes, what do you think? I don't. Because if it doesn't happen, that's what she doesn't want us to do. So how do you know what she wants us to do? Because she's the one doing it. I feel the same. If he said, no, we can't do it, no problem. Because I'm not having experience with that guy. I'm having experience with my God. He just happens to be the one that is just like, the experience tells me to go left or right. I don't even decide. The experience just goes this way. It's a no. So we just go this way. It's a yes. Go, really? Oh, okay. Well, now we can do it.
I'm with you.
The path directs us. And so, and God says, lean not upon your own understanding. In all my ways acknowledge me. So for me, I'm having an experience with God. So like, like Gus, I've got a lot of time for you, brother, and I've got a lot of time for Clyde, your mentor as well, and anything I can do to help. But that's not the experience I'm having now. It appears it is. For me is, you're here because God has put you here because you're here. So that's obvious, right? And
Yeah.
I'm fascinated what she's going to say through me and through you. And that's my primary experience. Why is it happening? Like, I'm not charging money. It's not like I'm getting anything, like I can see from it, right? But it's never about that. She organizes certain experiences throughout my day, and those are the experiences I take. It means nothing to my abundance because I felt abundant when I first woke up and got down on my knees and prayed to my God. And I woke up, you could say, centered myself and I'm having this God experience. That's when I felt abundant. Whatever else happened through the day is irrelevant because my abundance is not from this world. It's from God, right?
Wow.
So what's my interest in what a prospect says to me? Zero. That's what I think. What are you going to say to the prospect? I don't know. And I don't care. Anything you say that is smart, at the end of the day, simply changes your frequency based on how smart you think it is. Go, oh man, if I say it like that, they'll be interested.
Yeah.
What those words do is change your energy. Nothing to do with them. It's never to do with them. They're just a mirror of you. So those they work on you. That's why it works on them, because they're a projection of you. They're a reflection of you. So go, I say this and it makes them change. No, when you say that, it changes how you feel. And so you feel now that they're going to be more receptive. So now they're more receptive. Yeah, because of the words. No, because the words affected you, not them. So the words are like a spell that you cast on yourself. And as you change,
Crazy.
no choice but to change because the world isn't happening to you. You are the world. You are literally the entire 3D projected back to yourself. What the 3D is doing is just literally projecting back to you what your truth is about yourself in this moment. It's an illusion. It's an awakening. That's why trying to get stuff out of 3D is just like it'll guarantee you'll stay asleep. But if you wake up, the 3D is a joke. It's the biggest joke. It's the most glorious ride. It's the most glorious dream. You wake up in the dream, realizing that you're the dreamer, and now you can dream whatever you want. That's what we're really dealing with. You don't have to be scared of anybody in the dream because it's your projection. That's why I'm not interested in a lot of stuff. Just it doesn't matter what they say. I don't care. I'm not trying to work it out. I don't even know why we're having this meeting. People ring up, can we do this? I go,
I love this.
And if the meeting doesn't happen, it's not supposed to happen. The person is late, they're not supposed to be here. It just can't happen this way. So while it may initially piss me off, oh, that pisses me off. Fundamentally, that goes pretty quickly, and I just go, but that's just the way it has to happen. I understand. Because this is her way. We're not supposed to be doing this together. And so that has to happen to make me go, you know what? We can't do this together. So whatever way that she wants, I want it. I've already said yes to this moment. I've already said yes to this day because I said yes fundamentally to my God. The 3D belongs to you. The 3D is yours, and it's your day. It's not my day. And so what I do is I experience my God throughout the day, and then I have God-like experiences throughout the day, and that translates into the most fascinating thing in your bank account. But if the thing is you're on your bank account or your business, you're fucked. So.
This is so.
I can't deal in that world anymore. It's not my thing. It used to be my whole thing. But anything I say about that will mean that I'm falling asleep and I'm keeping you asleep. This is about awakening, not about the 3D stuff. The 3D is a byproduct of your awakening.
This is honestly, Steve, this is so much more that I could even fathom. And the reason I say that is like I've only just reconnected with God, like,
How
within the
long?
last couple of weeks.
Oh, right.
I'd say like three weeks now, 3 weeks this week, where I had a huge fear of going back to church, and it was from my congregation that I grew up with. And yeah, just one morning I just woke up and I was just like, fuck it, just fuck it. Like I was still a victim, like playing that victim to what the congregation would think about who I was.
Your congregation of one, and God has no religion. God's greater than that. If you choose to go through a particular group, awesome, enjoy that. But God has no congregation. It's not like that. It's just like it's God says that all that I have is thine. Everything God has given to all of us. That's the greatest truth to get. So God says, all that I have is thine. Everything I have, I give to you. So that's the great truth. But our personal truth is our personal belief. So this is our truth and the greater truth. So God can't give us any more because she's already given us all, because she said, everything you have is thine. So it's like going to the smorgasbord and going, oh, by the way, everything you have is there. You know what you do? You get there, you see a crumb, you go to pick it up and go, no, that's too good for me. Oh, here's a cockroach, I'm going to eat this. Man, this is disgusting, I hate this. But well, why are you eating a cockroach? Why don't you eat a smorgasbord? Yeah. This is all I can get. It doesn't change the fact that the person said you can have everything. It doesn't change the fact that God says everything you can have. What you will experience in that great truth is your personal truth. And that's all we're doing, just experiencing our personal truth in the great truth. And our personal truth is just a level of our awareness. And so if we believe all that we have is mine, we'll experience that. But if we experience how I feel about money is very similar to how I felt about money last week, I know it's going to happen. Pretty much what happened last week, what happened this week. I can't break the law. I can't. But if I experience God, then suddenly I feel the true abundance, the abundance that's obvious right in front of me. Oh my God, that law can't be broken. So even if I'm a bit of an idiot, like I'm just not that intelligent, right? Which is really good for a whole lot of people. Yeah. That's why there's a lot of idiots with a lot of money, because it's not about intelligence. Look at that numbers. I don't even know how that person is in the morning without hurting themselves. So it's not about intelligence things, right? It's not.
Yeah.
But people, it's just about to do how you feel about money. But even if you feel great about money, you've got a lot of money, so what? What's the point? What's the point of life? Like, so what? It doesn't surprise me that now we're having a conversation, and only in the last few weeks have you reconnected with God. Your congregation means nothing. They can be fantastic support, or they can be a social problem, You're more focused about what they're thinking, where you're at. So it just depends on that particular congregation. And so, but if that's an avenue you want to go down, by all means, it's beautiful. But between you and God, there is no mediator. How can there be when you are the very expression of God? Closer than hands, nearer than feet, closer than your breath, says God, that I am to you. That's how close. It's a matter of going internal. And so my church is in my garden. That's my church. But that's not saying my church is better than any church. Any church is a church, because there's no place that's not holy ground once God is in your heart. Where you stand is holy ground. Yeah. And so everything becomes a sacredness. And then what do you say? It doesn't matter, because you're not talking. That's why I joke, I take no responsibility for my words. Otherwise, it'd be me speaking, Just like, oh, blood, there's Steve, that sounds awesome. It's like that guy today. It doesn't matter what he said, because she had already decided whether he was going to do it or not before the conversation. So it doesn't matter that I said a little bit, or I said a lot, or I said nothing. It just didn't matter. And that's how I felt before the conversation. We're both going to find out which way we go. I don't care which way we go, because they don't control my money. God does. She's the source, not Rod, not John, not that person, not the source. They may just be the vehicle she chooses. That's all. It's irrelevant. It's more than irrelevant. It's a joke. So now you can experience with God. That's got to be your primary thing. Everything else is effortless. It's beyond effortless. It's the lightest of lightest feelings. And then I tell you what happens. They start calling you. They do. They do. I swear on my life. I swear to God that they do. Because that's been my experience. They're going, hi, I heard about you. Oh, yeah. Can I give you this? I go, yeah, we can. Can I give you this? Yes, you can. I tell people, they had to get the deal. They found me. I phoned you. I don't know. I didn't even bother asking. And what about the money? And they go, oh, wow, how'd you negotiate this? I didn't. They just offered it. I just said, yeah. Or I tell them a figure and they go, oh, okay, that's a lot of money. I'll do it. Or they go, oh, that's a bit too much. Don't worry about it. Like I just not interested as if I win something or lose something, I gain something or don't gain something. Because I'm already experiencing a financial abundance, not of this one. So how that plays out is how it plays out. What they go through is what they go through. It's irrelevant. People, they're going through stress. They have to. I already said yes to them going through stress. Some people come into my world to experience a frequency of stress because that's the energy they're in. So as they fulfill my frequency, I fulfill these. So they come to my world and they experience all the stress. Oh my God, it's so stressful being around Steve. But that's, we're all fulfilling each other's frequency, right? I don't think I'm that shy, but for some people, there's many people. I promise you, you're, as we hang out a bit more, there's many people who really, 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 and I mean strongly dislike me, like really.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with all of it because I guess that happen. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I don't know why that person's under stress. I mean, I can understand because maybe I'm telling them off for something, right? But I fundamentally know that I don't know. Like I said, I don't know why we're having this conversation. Now I know why we're having it in 3D. You rang me up and said, "Carry conversation." Sure, but that's not why we're having it. We're having it because she's organised it. Why she organised it, I don't know. And I love that I don't know. Because I'm not experiencing Gus, I'm experiencing her. So it's such a different life, it's such a different experience. And we haven't even covered off anything that you asked, but we've covered off anything you could ask or ever ask in this conversation.
That's the paradox that I caught on to when you said it. Like, we're not going to talk about that because that's secondary, but this is exactly what I needed. Like, yeah.
It's because
it was the missing link was that, because now that I reflect from when we met down at Devonport, you were talking about, what your morning, the first thing that you do. And that struck a nerve for me because I know, I've been brought up in a Christian household. And like, even just going to Proverbs, I laugh because I used to know that entire scripture off by heart. My mum would read it to us every night. And like, it's almost, I mean, I feel a sense of shame in some sense because I don't know any of it now, but at the same time, it was just a reminder of like, shit, how did I let it get this far? You know what I mean? Every good thing that's happened up until that point was because my faith was so strong,
your faith was strong, but it's not like it's going to be now. Because you almost have to leave your faith to get the true awakening. Your faith happened because you're brought up in it. And you had a belief, you had energy, but it's also influenced by your parents and so forth and by your congregation. It's beautiful. But the reason you're coming back to now is it's no longer an influence of anybody else. So when these words awaken in you, you won't remember them. You will live them. You will be what the Bible calls a living word. You are those words come alive because of the way you live is an expression of those words. You become the living truth. Those words aren't just light things, they're just they're everything. So my recommendation is you take Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, and you write it out in your handwriting. You put that up where you see every day, and you remember how to start your day. And you write up Matthew 6:33, and you remember that the email you're writing, you better not be writing. Your God better be writing it. If there's any resistance, you're not having a God experience. You're having a Gus experience. I feel good. You may feel good, but do you feel God? I feel good about this deal. I'm not asking about the deal. Do you feel your God here? Do you feel that? And if not, what's the even purpose of getting up today? Like, it's so everything in this in the 3D. So you made a few $1 million and you got a helicopter. Whoopee do.
Yeah.
So what? You won't have the peace that comes from God. And once you experience that, you can't put a price on that. And that's the experience I want to have today. That's the reason my eyes open today. And I won't stop in my morning until I get there. Why start anything until I get there? How does that even make sense to me? And when I'm not quite there, the 3D feels, oh my God, I remember this life. I'm trying to get out. The person said something that's really started to fuck me off. Man, motherfucker, feels like I should give him a hiding. Steve coming back and I just feel like punching him. And I mean, I'm not saying, like metaphorically, they need their hiding.
Yeah.
I actually want to go around there and just give them a good smack in the head because that was my own life. I sort out, this is how we sort out staff issues back in my day. Just come over here, you motherfucker. And we have a good little hiding and everything's fine. Gonna do that dumb shit again? Yeah. I didn't think so. So it's just like, that's the feeling I get. It's just like I have to control and move everything. And I have to make sure I type this email, I'm saying the right things. I'm not interested. If I'm having a phone call, it's because she's made me have the phone call. I pick it up. What do I think? I don't. What should I say? That's not a thought. I'm interested in what she's already decided the outcome. So it doesn't matter what I say. I'm just really experienced. Oh, yeah. Oh, you don't want to do the deal? Hey, no worries. Oh, let me explain. No, you don't have to explain it. It's no problem. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's all good. See you later. Cool. You might as well say he's $10,000. That's how it feels to me. Because it's her way. That's why it doesn't affect me. But if it's my way, then you've got a million questions. Every step you have to try and control and manipulate. Every conversation, you're going to have to follow up. What's going on? What's going on? Are we going to do the deal? It's just like a grown adult, they know what they're going to do. That's just a 3D thing anyway. And for me, it's just like what I experienced this week financially is between me and my God, and me and my God only. The vehicle she chooses, the courier company she chooses to deliver it to, and they may call it John, or Mary, or Joe. They're not the courier. They're not deciding. So if I don't feel abundant, she'll make sure that none of these deals can happen because she won't break her laws for me or for anybody. I can't break the law. Trust me, I've tried. Like I really tried. But once you're aligned with the laws, it can't be broken. So if you're actually feeling abundant, you can't screw it up. I don't think people really get that part. The laws can't be broken, so I can't fuck it up. If I'm feeling abundant, but there's no potential avenue, it doesn't matter. Because I can't fuck it up, because I feel it's a truth that I'm feeling. It's like the law can't be broken. It's not dependent on how smart I am in business. How many contacts. I can have no contacts, no money, no nothing, no chance, no avenue, nothing. And yet still it must turn on. Because that law can't be broken. Someone will just give it to me. So if you're doing a business, that's cool, but don't think of the business as your income. If that's who she chooses you to experience finances through this weakness, that may not be through your business. That's why I don't care. Like the deals, well, what should you say? It means nothing. Nothing to me. Why should it? As I said in the IC call the other day, is to one of the guys, it's just like, do you know how to make God giggle? Do you know how to make God giggle?
No.
Tell her your plans.
Jeez.
Fair
enough.
What do you think, you know? Every fear, every doubt sees that God is a liar. Every doubt you have, that little doubt or that big doubt is still the same. It's just like, hope it works out. What you're saying is, I don't believe you. And the reason you don't believe God, and this is really important, because you haven't experienced God. God was just a deep mental concept, but not an experience. You have to realize God, or another word for realize is experience. You have to experience. And once you experience it, you can never unexperience it.
Jeez.
You all good, my brother?
I feel like I've just been like, I don't even know how to explain it.
So tell me
I'm good. Like,
well,
I'm just like, fuck, I fucked it. Oh man.
The joy you're experiencing is the joy that comes from her. The peace you're experiencing in this form is her peace. It's not a world, it's not something smart I said. It's not that. You know, you can read a bunch of what I said in any book anyway, or sort of. But you won't experience her. But she's here, right? You can feel it. So if I was to say to you, what's your realizations from this call? What would it be?
My biggest one is just to surrender,
To,
like to God. And I know this is one thing that I definitely know within the week. It's just been like in my conscience, you know, waking up. And I know, like, that's just the worst part, is like, I know that the first thing I should be doing is a prayer, you know, my prayer. That's usually, I don't know, it's the first thing that just says in my head, like, connect with God. And I haven't. I know I haven't. You know, what's the first thing I do? Like, I meditate. But it's not to connect with God. It's for myself, you know? And that's probably why he's just been giggling. Like you said, that even just that.
it's like this, you know, when I just said surrender, right? And I go, to who? Because a lot of people go, I surrender. It's nothing. It's just, you truly have surrendered to the way that they've said it. You have a little bit of peace from your thoughts, right? It's a little bit of that. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about God. I'm saying, God, this is your life to live through me. This is you. This is your way. These are your words. These are your actions. These are your results. May you be glorified. And if I get nothing in the 3D, so be it. Because just having the experience is enough for me. And I believe it and I mean it. And then the paradox is, the irony, is I get everything. Right?
Yeah.
So surrender to your God. And if you haven't done it already today, do it straight after this. You know? I can't. It's not that I better do it. I crave it. Like I crave it like I crave food and air. It's just like, regardless of it, I got to do this. Like, you know, it's I have no choice. There's nothing more important. What's more important than that? That's my focus. That's my focus for the day. It's more than that. It's a reason I exist. It's the reason my eyes open. That's the level of importance. Everything else, it's irrelevant. Then from there, she organizes my world. She organizes, like I got my calendar. Well, my calendar is just my best guess of what's going to happen today. It doesn't matter what it is.
My best.
Yeah, because he's going to decide who turns up and who doesn't. Right?
Yeah.
And it's just
oh man, I love that.
I don't want to write an email. I want her to do it. I don't want to respond. I want her to. I don't want to do the task. I want her to. So that means I must be in that experience with my God, and then it happens through me. And there's a lightness. I better go, but my wife, she raises these butterflies. They're so beautiful. I feel like a butterfly, just like float around a bit. Oh, that's what it is. And that's how I feel. You know, there's a lightness in everything I do. There's no heaviness. So what I'm going to do, brother, is this will probably take about half an hour or so and save, and then I'll send you the recording.
Thank you so much, Steve.
It's no worries. In this recording, as long as it's being recorded, is this God energy. It's a God experience in this. When you listen back, you will experience God every time that you do. You really will. You can't listen to this too much every day. You can have this on the background when you're doing stuff and not even actively listen. You can have it on the background and not even hear it. And it'll still happen for you. Because it's an energy thing. It's not a listening thing. But listening to it will help as well. So it's one of those things that you want to listen to. It's almost like a prayer that happens in the background while you're working. Just replay this recording again and again and again. The truths will come alive in you because she's in this experience with us. All good?
All good.
Awesome, brother.
All great.
So, amen to that. Awesome. The word amen literally means so be it. So, so be it. Amen, brother. Much love. See you later.
Amen. Thank you so much, Steve. See you.